What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today is Friday, September 22nd, day number 52 inside the Big Brother house. And you know what? There's not a lot to talk about today. Yeah, not really much. Who am I kidding? There is so much to talk about, so much to go over. From a wild double eviction episode to a crazy new twist, which I think I have pretty much worked out, to all the aftermath that took place on the live feeds. There's so much that we need to go over. First off, before we do that, we have 3 birthdays today. First off, Scott, I know it's your birthday today. Also, Cole and Carly, it's your birthdays as well. This is going to be your birthday song. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. All right, let's get into the episode. Happy birthday to you 3. Hope you have a great day. Let's talk about the episode, because the double eviction, it was wild. From the jump, we got like pretty much right into everything. I will say it's always a little frustrating when they just come out and tell them it's a double eviction. Like, let them sweat for a little bit. Like, because in theory, if you tell them before the vote, it can affect what they do in that first vote. It wasn't going to happen in this one, but potentially there's options where they go, wait a minute, it's a double. Maybe we shouldn't do this. We should do something else. And look, they're not idiots. They kind of had an idea that it was coming anyway. When you put them in athletic gear and you start the vote that early in an episode, they're going to put 2 and 2 together. But for all they knew, it could have been a triple eviction. It could have been anything. Like, they didn't know exactly what it was until you confirmed it's a double. Then they know it's a double. We did get Cam, who was voted out first in the first part of the double eviction. It was 8-0. Wasn't a big surprise there. He pretty much was like, I'm so shocked. Pretty much doing the Joseph face from last season. And he went out and was pretty much told right away by Julie, like, hey, normally I'd ask you some questions, but your game's undead, and you're going to find out more about how you're a BB zombie, and you're not going to be going anywhere. So that is the first part of the eviction, and we were going to find out more about what that meant later. So let's update our chart here, because we're going to try and follow this along. Cameron, see you later. You've been evicted. That then takes us to the HOH competition, which was really kind of the meat of where this double started. It was actually a knockout style competition, which I might be wrong here, and I'm sure something similar has happened in other years, and I'm just kind of forgetting it at the moment. But this seems like it was maybe the first time we've ever had 2 knockout style competitions in one season. Personally, I love a good knockout style because it really kind of makes people show their cards during the competition. And I guess, to be fair, this wasn't a direct knockout style. It was a little bit changed up, where there was a random order set with a line. If you won, you got to go to the back of the line. Whoever was the front of the line would then get to pick who their opponent was. So it was kind of like a half knockout style. Instead of picking both people to go up next, you just picked one of them. We started with Mecole, who was up first, and she chose Bowie to go up against, which honestly, if you're Mimi, that's a perfect person to pick. Like, no blood on your hands at all. Like, technically, they're in a little bit of a group right now at the moment, but in general, like, they're not really close allies, and it really kind of hides everything. And I think also, too, like, Bowie didn't necessarily want HOH. So, like, Bowie didn't care, right? Like, this was kind of the perfect person for her to pick to go first. And Bowie ends up being the one who does go out. Mimi moves to the back of the line. Next up, we had Blue and Felicia. Felicia ends up being the one who was eliminated. After that, we had Jag, who picked Cirie. And this is kind of the start of the Cirie roll. So Jag ends up out. We had Matt versus Cirie. Matt ends up out. Potential that they just kind of threw it to her or let her beat them. I don't know. I think they might have been trying, but also, if you were why pick her if you were trying? Like, it just seems weird. Like, they weren't going to get away with this. Once they started picking her, it's like, come on, like, everybody knew what you were doing. After them, Cory ended up picking Cirie, and Cory beats her. So Cirie has gone. Then we had America up, or actually, I'm trying to think now. Yeah. I think it was Cory, then it was Cirie, then it was America in the order. America was the next one up, and she ended up choosing blue, which she ended up losing. So America was out. That left Mimi and Cory, and then it was Mecole who was eliminated, and then finally Cory versus blue. And this was actually kind of an interesting thing here, because blue had mentioned that she didn't necessarily want to put up Jared and Cirie if she won, and would potentially put up Cory and America, especially Cory. She told this to America. So it ended up being the two of them against each other. Blue loses, Cory wins. HOH. If I can get my little board here to update, let's see. Look at that, it's all working perfectly. So he won HOH, and there was a little bit of discussion because they only have a very quick amount of time to figure out who they're going to be nominating, and there was a little bit of discussion where Cory wanted to know, should I put up Jared and Cirie, or should I put up Jared and Blue? Because again, I'm not sure if I even really mentioned it to you guys yesterday, but Blue did tell America I probably would put up Cory. Why she would do this? No clue. I have no idea why she would do it, but she thought it was a good idea. So since Cory won, he decides, well, you know what? I might as well put up Jared and Blue. And that then takes us to the veto competition, which Jag, Matt, and Mecole were all picked to play in the veto. So Cirie didn't even have a chance to potentially win veto and save Jared. It was going to end up being, at that point, one of them who would be leaving, no matter who won the veto. Even if it was Jared or Blue, Cirie would be the replacement, meaning one of them were going to be going in this eviction. It was the classic clown shoe competition. If you guys aren't aware, because again, I always kind of just assume like everybody all knows like the big lore of Big Brother. Clown shoe, if you're not sure what that refers to, the veto competition that they played last night with this big ball pit. You have to run back and forth, grabbing items. The reason why it's known as clown shoe is it was the theme of the competition back when, I don't even think it was the first time that they did this competition, but yeah, it wasn't, because they've definitely done other competitions that were similar. I remember BB10 had one like this too, that I think Memphis won in a double eviction. It was like a hay bale one. But clown shoe's probably the most infamous one. BB13 was when Jeff ended up being sent home because he lost this veto, basically by throwing the clown shoe out of the area. He was just like digging all the balls up, and while he was doing that, one of the shoes went flying out of his area, and he couldn't find it, and he couldn't win. So that ended up losing him the game. And in this one, no clown shoes that I saw went flying. I don't know, potentially they did. But Matt is the one who ends up winning it. He does not use it. And Jared is the one who is evicted and sent to, well, join Cameron, pretty much, out there. But did he? That's something else that we have to talk about, because, well, let's see. Oh, also, I didn't add the veto there for Matt. Matt won veto. Matt should get the veto shown. So Jared ends up joining Cam out there. And here's the thing. It isn't exactly what it seems, because very quickly, both of them were informed that no, their game is not over at the moment. They are both now considered BB zombies, and they will have a chance to get back into the game. They'd actually end up moving inside the house again for the week, competing in competitions to see who would end up being the one to go back into the game. Now, what kind of competitions were they going to be? We didn't know. What we were going to get to see them do, again, we didn't know. And the other thing that Julie told us was there would be no HOH this week. There would be no nominations. There would be no veto competition. All of it would be coming down to these two competing in these competitions to see who's going to walk away and who's going to end up being the one to come back into the game. And here, I think we have the perfect way to show off what they're like as BB zombies. There we go. Jared and Cameron, your BB zombies for the week. I guess we technically can get rid of the veto and the HOH on Cory and Matt as well, since there will be no veto and no HOH this week. It'll just be Jared and Cameron who are the nominees. Did you guys like how I did that? It seems so seamlessly there. Bet you guys didn't even know I was doing stuff in the background, but I was. You guys could totally tell I was doing stuff in the background. But yes, they end up being competing in these competitions. What they exactly are, we're gonna have to find out a little bit. There's some speculation there, but let's talk about what we know, what we don't know. We didn't get to see them come into the house on the live feeds. When we came back to the feeds, they were already in the house. So we'll see like the reactions of finding all this out on Sunday's episode. There's also some other stuff I'm going to talk about in a little bit that we missed while the feeds were down. That seems like it's very interesting, and I want to see it. I really hope they feature it well on Sunday. There will be no Tuesday episode, so no veto. And then on Thursday, one of these two will re-enter the game as an actual player and no longer be a zombie. Now, I feel like it's going to be a bit of a slow week as far as the feeds go, since there's no HOH, no veto. Like, what are they going to game talk about, right? It's just going to be whether or not Jared or Cameron are coming back in. But also, that first week, at least the first weekend where there was no HOH before Reilly won it, that was also pretty entertaining, right? The fact there wasn't someone that they had to be worried about led to more game talk. So I would imagine there's going to be lots of spinning of like what the future plans are and things like that as well. Let's talk though here about how this is going to work, because I think I've kind of figured it out and pieced together from multiple different conversations what's going to be going down here. Again, this is a lot kind of just speculation and my best guess on how things are going to work. But this is what I gathered. Cam and Jared, they're going to compete in two separate competitions this week. One of them will end up winning that first competition, and they will get the choice whether or not they pick to play the competition, the last one, or they pass that competition. If they choose to play and they lose, the other person goes back in the house. If they pass, that other person loses, they go back into the house. So it's kind of like, do you have confidence in yourself to win and play? Do it, and you're going back in the house. If you don't think you have a good shot at winning, but the other person has a good shot at losing, you pass, let them fail, you go back into the house. So you kind of have control over your own fate here if you can win this first competition. What is the first competition, you may ask? I actually know that as well. It's the seesaw competition, where they have to kind of take the balls back and forth on the seesaw and stack them up. I'm a little confused though, because apparently they're tied at the moment. I don't know how you pause this competition, but they have taken a break now. It'll actually finish up today at some point, so we'll find out who the winner of that is today on the live feeds. And then again, whoever wins that gets the ultimate power of whether they want to play that second part of the competition or pass that second part of the competition. I feel like both of them are going to end up picking it if they do get it, because they would rather have the control. Cameron, I think, should, just because he will be good at that kind of a thing. Like, he's usually pretty good under pressure. So I think he'll do fine. Jared, I think, will just think he needs to do it. And also probably not best if he passes to Cameron. That doesn't seem like it's the best idea either. They also have to wear these like rags. They're basically like these costumes, but they look like ripped up rags. So we'll see how that all goes as well. And also, there was a little bit of confusion, because when Felicia was talking to Matt, it really seemed like she was implying they had some kind of choice on whether or not they wanted to keep either person. Like, at first, like, I think a lot of people thought there would be some kind of a vote, but it doesn't seem like that. It seems like it's all going to come down to whether or not Cameron or Jared can win this competition. And then if they win that, they get the choice on whether or not they want to compete in the next one. Also, like I mentioned, we didn't see them coming back, but when we started with the feeds, Jared was already in the house, and Cirie was with him in the comic book room, and they were kind of doing damage control, but also like a guilt trip on Matt. Eventually Jared like actually started getting kind of heated as they were talking about like, why'd you do this? Why'd you turn us? We were loyal to you. And Matt was talking about like, I kept hearing about all these alliances that you guys had, and they're like, we weren't ever coming after you. And Jared was again starting to get kind of heated, so he eventually left, and then Cirie kind of took over, calmed it down a little bit, made it more of the damage control, less of a guilt trip session. Eventually Jag and Felicia joined them, and it was more of the same. In fact, like the vibe I would give it was not like a I'm not mad at you, but I'm just kind of disappointed, like a parent would do, right? Like, I love you still, and we can fix this. It was that kind of a thing. But one of the funniest things was when Bowie eventually showed up in the comic book room. So again, it was Jag, Felicia, Cirie, and Matt just all in there talking about all of this stuff that happened. Bowie comes in and she goes, hey guys, I'm gonna go to bed. Also, I just realized I have the competition still up. I'm gonna go to bed. You guys keep talking though. So she just goes over into her bed. She's laying down. She's flossing her teeth. They're still going on about game talk. FBJ, it's been kind of her initials that she's become known for in the house. Usually the F stands for something different, but now she's flossing Bowie Jane. Just flossing in that bed, having a great time listening to these guys all go crazy as they game talk. Eventually, like I said, Jared had left that before they showed up. He went and had a long talk with Blue, which actually, full transparency with you guys. If this problem works, there we go. They're still talking. I've tuned out now because they just keep going in circles. Basically, he wants to know what she knew, when she knew, why she didn't tell him. He feels hurt that she didn't tell him more and that this was all going on. She tells him, like, I told you pretty much everything I knew, right? Like, maybe the only thing she says is, I didn't necessarily tell you that Cory and America were coming after you, but that was obvious. I didn't tell you that Jag possibly would put you up, but I was also talking him out of that. And Jag will confirm that I was doing that. And Matt, I didn't know, right? Like, dude, I didn't know he was targeting you, which she did. She knew all this. He just doesn't want to admit that to him. And on the same end, what would he knowing do, right? Even if she went and told him all of this, he already was fully committed on going after Cameron. I mean, he knew Cory and America were probably going after him, and he didn't care. He literally said, I don't care. I don't worry about them. I'm worried about Cameron. He knew that Jag and Matt were getting much closer to Cory and America. He didn't care. He still chose to target Cameron this week and put him up as a replacement nominee. That's on him, period, right? Like, he can be upset at Blue for doing pretty much the same thing he's been doing to her the whole game. But yeah, that kind of seems where it is. Blue really stood her ground, though, really saying, like, listen, like, I don't know what you kind of wanted from me. And Jared didn't even seem like he was listening to her. He was barely looking at her. And they kind of sort of broke up. But we'll see how that goes. Like I said, they're still talking. They're still kind of chatting. They're trying to, you know, clear the air and mend fences. Overall, they're not on good terms, but, you know, they're being civil, right? It's just a very awkward situation. We then also had lots of various meetings after their first initial meeting, like eventually Blue and Jag met up, Matt and Blue met up. We had Jag and Matt and Cory, Cory, Matt, America, Jag, Cory and Matt. Just almost every combo you can imagine, just kind of going over things that happened, apologizing for things that maybe they said, but also like reaffirming, you know, where they all are standing. And just, you can tell, like, they're all still very much on board with, listen, Jared's got to go. Kind of the big takeaway was Jared is the one they all want to lose and leave. and they want Cameron to come back. A lot of them feel good with Cameron coming back, like Jag, Cory, America. They all feel like, yeah, Cameron's going to want to work. Matt's a little bit iffy on it, right? Like, he would still be like, well, we still got to get rid of Cameron pretty much right afterwards. So it seems like that's still going to be kind of the plan. Whoever comes back would be the one that be targeted right afterwards as well. We didn't, though, of all those people, we didn't actually get Cory and Blue have a conversation yet, kind of talking about, like, how he heard that he was going to be put on the block by her, and that's why he put it on the block, and he's sorry that he had to do it, but it was all about getting Jared out. So that's going to be an interesting conversation when it does take place today at some point. Then we had Cam and Jared having a conversation, just the two of them, and Cameron kind of says, like, once again, he's like, I told you, right? Like, he told him out on the stage, he's like, I told you, right? Last week, he told him, right? Like, Cameron kept telling Jared, they're going to be coming after you, and Jared didn't want to listen. And he says, at this point, there's no point in us fighting, right? One of us gets to come back. Let's make sure the other succeeds. Jared kind of tells him, like, yeah, Cirie was the only one who really considered keeping you last week. And that, you know, you gotta work with her and protect her if you stay. Pretty much protect my mom without saying protect my mom. He says that, like, you know, he'll try, and Cameron says, like, can you try and talk to Blue for me too? Like, to make sure if I stay, I'm good with her and Cirie, and at least I have somebody to go to. Jared kind of says, yeah, I'll see what I can do. And Cameron's like, what can I do for you? And Jared's just like, just protect the one person who wanted to keep you, Cirie. They were kind of throwing each of the other house guests under the bus when they really got a chance. Cirie joined them for a little bit, and they talked more about, you know, I wish we would have worked together. We should have kept you. We never should have put you on the block and stuff like that. A couple of things we did miss, though, while the live feeds were down, included something very big, which I hope is highlighted on Sunday's episode. Mimi and Cirie had a fight. I don't know if it was just Mimi and Cirie. It seemed like it might have involved Felicia and Jared in the room as well, because with this, it kind of brought Cory's head back in. Oh, yeah, Jared told me about this thing called the Brown Sugar Babes. Now, I don't actually know for sure if he had, like, I think I remember him telling him about a bunch of alliances one day. It was like Cory and Jared sitting in the backyard, kind of on those benches by the pool. And I think I remember him telling him about things like the 7 deadly sins. Like, that's when he first learned about that. And Cory came eventually sometime between the fight and now, and had a chat with Mimi where he was like, so is the Brown Sugar Babes like a real thing? Was that real? And he's like, I kind of forgot about it, and Jared told me about it weeks ago, but like with everything else that happened, I just kind of forgot, right? Like I just wanted to ask you. And Mimi eventually told Jared, she's like, how did Cory know about that, huh? And Jared's like, I didn't tell him. Like, did we even have it week 3? I'm pretty sure they had it week 3. I can actually go back and check. I make alliance charts every week, so I can see what week they actually made that. So we can go back and check that fact. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Jared's the one who ended up telling him, because then he tries to kind of blame it on others, right? Where he was like, how between the fight and now did Cory find out about this? And pretty much was trying to imply that it was Felicia who ended up telling Cory. But yeah, other than that, we had everybody kind of heading to bed after doing their diary room sessions. Matt was one of the last ones to get called to the DR, except again for Jared and Blue, which they apparently might not go to sleep, because like I said, they're still up, they're still talking, but again, they're kind of talking in circles. It wasn't really much, so I figured I'd bring you the update here, because otherwise it would be very late. It would be very late. I'm recording this now when normally the upload's going up. So we're gonna get this thing out to you guys. And I think that pretty much covers everything that happened on the live feeds last night. It's a lot. It was an absolute lot. This week's gonna be interesting. We've got, again, the 2 zombies. One of them will be able to win the competition and get full control over whether or not they come back into the game. And I want to hear from you guys. What did you think of the double eviction? What do you think of this twist? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you want to see either one of them come back more than the other? I know there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions on them, but in the game sense, who do you think would be more interesting to see come back into the house as a full player? Let me know all that in the comments down below. Again, especially, what do you guys think of this twist? Personally, I think I kind of like it, but also hate it at the same time, right? Like, I like the fact that they're living in the house with everybody for the week. It makes it really awkward, and it's for our entertainment, and that makes it a lot of fun. But also, like, I don't like that pretty much everybody who took a big move and made took that shot at Jared is now kind of getting punished for that. And there is even a chance that it wouldn't matter and he's back in the game. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Thank you guys all again so much for watching. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Check out the links to all my socials in the description down below. Pinned comment. Check out things like the Kick, Twitch, Twitter, the Discord. The Discord's been just so much fun over there recently. Honestly, it's been one of the coolest things to see that kind of growing on its own as well, and everybody chatting throughout the day about what's happening on the feeds. Plus, it's a great way for me when I have even more of you guys being like, oh, did you just see this on the feeds? And it makes this job easier to be able to be like, oh, something cool happened. Because, again, I don't get to see everything, but when I hear about something, I go back and watch it, and I tell you guys about it. So there are things I miss, right? But you guys are what helped me really keep this all updated as much as I really do. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you next time.